She was ordered out of her seat, loud and public, with no reason given. The only black woman in first class, treated like she had snuck in through the wrong door. No one said it outright, but every stare, every withheld service, every fake security protocol screamed the same thing. You don't belong here. It wasn't an error. It was orchestrated. And while they stripped her dignity row by row, no one asked who she was because they assumed she was no one. What they didn't know was that she held the power to bring their entire system crashing down. This wasn't just about a seat. It was about the game behind the curtain and what happens when the one they try to erase flips the board. Layla Thompson walked through the sliding glass doors of LAX with the quiet confidence of someone who had earned her place in every room she entered. She wore a charcoal trench coat tailored perfectly to her frame. Her hair was pulled into a smooth, low bun that didn't shift as she moved. Her luggage glided behind her, wheels silent over the polished terminal floor. A pair of wireless earbuds nestled in her ears, but no music played. She liked to hear the world. And today, something in the world felt off. As she moved through the terminal, she paused in front of a digital wayfinder to confirm her gate, A17, international business to Madrid. She wasn't lost, just double-checking the fastest route to the VIP screening entrance. Ahead stood a TSA officer, navy uniform, posture slouched, one hand lazily resting on his belt. She approached with polite clarity. "Hi, could you point me toward gate A17? He didn't answer. His eyes moved from her shoes to her curls, paused at her face, then drifted past her as if she hadn't spoken. Without a word, he pointed toward the general boarding signs behind her, where the economy class crowd had begun to queue, then turned and walked away. She blinked. The dismissal was blatant. Her grip on her suitcase handle tightened slightly. No confrontation. Not yet. She turned and made her way to the priority access line by herself. A second officer, younger, with a buzz cut, stepped into her path. No greeting, just a raised palm. Boarding pass. She handed over her boarding pass and passport. He stared at the screen, then at her, then back at the screen. Step aside for additional screening. Why? She asked calmly. Random check. Behind her, passengers flowed freely through the scanner. White businessmen, a couple in designer coats, a teenager with a gaming backpack. No one else was stopped. Only her. Layla moved where instructed. A female agent with latex gloves approached and began a full-body scan. Her earrings set off the wand. Her scarf had to be removed. Her laptop swabbed. Her wrist scanned. Through it all, she said nothing. But the heat behind her ribs grew. The air around her felt thinner. When she was finally cleared, her belongings were handed back without a word. She moved on. No one made eye contact, as if she had done something wrong by simply existing. She reached the first-class lounge, scanned her mobile pass at the kiosk. The screen blinked red. "Hold on, please," said the agent at the counter. A slim woman with a headset and perfectly parted blonde hair. She frowned at her tablet. Layla waited a minute. Then two. Behind her, a man in a navy Burberry coat scanned his pass. Green light. The agent beamed. "Welcome back, Mr. Hanley." When she turned back to Layla, her tone flattened. "You may proceed." No apology. No explanation. Just a wave. Layla entered and found a chair near the far corner. She plugged in her phone, poured herself a cup of mint tea, and sat in silence. Around her, people chatted easily, consultants prepping a slideshow, a couple reading the Wall Street Journal. No one looked like her. Not that it mattered. She didn't need their validation. But today, it felt heavier. Her phone buzzed, an email confirming her keynote speech in Madrid. Subject line bold. "Welcome CEO Thompson." She swiped it away. Outside the glass, a jet pulled onto the tarmac, its silver wings catching the rising sun. Her mother's voice stirred in her memory. "You have to walk twice as far to be seen half as clearly. But walk anyway." Someone passed close behind and coughed loudly. She caught a glance. The man wrinkled his nose and turned away. She didn't react. Injustice didn't always slap you in the face. Sometimes it wore a uniform and pointed you toward economy. She rose, gathered her things, and stepped back into the terminal corridor. At the premium access lane, a man in a tailored suit asked a nearby staffer for help. The staffer smiled, leaned in, and even drew the route on her tablet screen. Layla approached the same woman. "Excuse me," she said calmly. "I just want to confirm. Gate I-17 is straight ahead, right?" The woman didn't respond. She turned mid-sentence and walked away. It was intentional. Layla sighed and walked toward the business class security checkpoint. As she neared, two TSA officers stepped forward. One extended his arm. "Ma'am," he said, "this lane is for premium access." "I'm flying business class," she replied, holding up her pass. The officer didn't scan it. His eyes flicked from her face to her coat to her skin, then back. "Wait here," he said, and turned to speak into his radio. The second guard didn't budge. She waited. Around her, other passengers passed through without pause. No one else was stopped. Only her. The officer returned and scanned her pass. "Proceed." No apology. She walked through the metal detector. Not a beep. But the sting wasn't in the scan. It was in the presumption that she didn't belong. As she retrieved her belongings, she noticed a middle-aged man in a gray blazer whispering to the first officer. They both chuckled. She didn't stop. She couldn't. Not yet. Her boarding group, Group 1, flashed on the screen. She approached the priority lane. Her pass scanned green. "Welcome aboard," the attendant muttered without looking up. Inside the aircraft, a flight attendant greeted the man in front of her with a smile. When Layla reached her, the smile vanished. "Seat?" the woman asked briskly. Layla answered. A nod, no warmth. She stowed her bag and sat down. The seat was beautiful, wide leather, polished tray, ample legroom. But it felt tainted. She had earned it, paid for it, reserved it. Yet she was treated as if she had stolen it. A male attendant passed her row with a tray of blankets. His shoulder clipped hers. No glance. No apology. Behind her, faint laughter. Two crew near the curtain divider whispered and chuckled. Their eyes darted toward her. She inhaled slowly. Responding would only feed their assumptions. Instead, she turned to her tablet, reviewing notes for her speech. The humiliation wasn't loud. It was deliberate, measured. Two attendants moved through the cabin with disinfectant. They skipped every row but hers. One knelt and scrubbed her seat as if sanitizing a threat. She wasn't coughing. She wasn't sick. It was performance. Still, she said nothing. She watched. A man across the aisle with a Rolex glanced her way. Curiosity, not empathy. She returned to her screen. Time passed. A stewardess skipped her for drinks, then returned with forced brightness. "Something to drink?" "Still water," she said. The glass arrived wordlessly. The man with the Rolex received champagne and almonds. She received condensation. It wasn't about the water. She had tasted this before. In boardrooms where she had to introduce herself twice. In tech conferences where she was mistaken for staff. In lounges where her presence required proof. But this was a slow drip. The kind that bruised deeper. The crew skipped her for menus. When she signaled, an attendant gestured vaguely toward the galley. She swallowed the burn. She'd been here before. But this time, it felt more public. More weaponized. Minutes later, a tall male attendant approached. "Miss Thompson," he said. "We've been notified of an issue with your booking." She blinked. "What kind of issue?" "You may have been placed in the wrong cabin. This is my assigned seat." I checked in. I scanned my pass. "I'm where I belong." He held out a tablet. "We need you to step off briefly." "No," she said. "If you want to verify, do it from here." "I'm not leaving my seat." "If you refuse, we'll escalate." "Are you threatening to remove me?" "We can have airport security board." The man walked away. Another staffer approached and dropped a new boarding pass on her tray. 22B, coach. She didn't open it. She didn't move. She wasn't just being erased. She was being redefined. Across the aisle, a security officer appeared. Another waited by the cabin door. Cameras shifted to her row. Her screen went black while others still displayed flight info. Erase. Diminish. Dissolve. But they had underestimated her presence. She tapped her tablet, opened the Luma app, her creation. Checked live analytics. She wasn't just a passenger. She was the architect. New passengers boarded. A woman stumbled near her row. "Watch it," she hissed. Another performance. The whispering grew. She was becoming the disruption. Not because she caused it. Because they needed her to be. Another boarding pass arrived. Same seat. Coach. Same message. You don't belong. A man in a vest fidgeted. Looked like he might speak. Then checked his phone instead. Cowardice dressed as neutrality. Another senior attendant hovered by her seat. He said nothing. Just stood there. She looked from him to the entrance. Then down at the second ticket. They wanted her to move. To shrink. She slowly tore the ticket in half. The tension in the cabin sparked like static. Then came Daniel, a trainee, no older than 21, tablet in hand. "Ma'am, I was asked to verify your credentials." She showed him her phone, her confirmation, her name. He paused. "Luma Travel?" She tilted her head. "I'm the founder." He stilled. Eyes wide. Fingers flew over the tablet. Within minutes, red alerts flashed across every device. Priority Executive Alert. Layla Thompson, Luma CEO. Code 7 in effect. The energy changed. Now it wasn't hostility. It was fear. The regional director boarded in polished shoes, flanked by staff. He bowed his head. Miss Thompson, we apologize. Which part? She asked. The screening, the public shaming, or trying to downgrade me? All of it, he said. He listed suspensions, terminations, full accountability. And the trainee? She asked. Reassigned, retrained. And your airline? No longer supported by Luma. That was the line she needed, not the apology. The consequence. We'll be in touch, she said. News spread. A 30-second TikTok clip hit 3 million views. Hashtags trended. Luma froze all airline partnerships. Their stock dropped 8% in 2 hours. By morning, it would be 25%. She said little. Let the world speak. A year later, she spoke again at Luma's Access Plus forum. She told the story. Not with bitterness. With clarity. Then a man stood. Brian Rhee. The first officer from LAX. I didn't see her. I saw what I was trained to mistrust. I lost my job. I deserved to. She approached. Thank you for standing, she said. Most don't. Then announced, Luma's flight path forward begins now. A reintegration program. Our first recipient is Brian. Applause followed. She didn't seek revenge. She built redirection. Justice wasn't punishment. It was transformation.